Hello, Jesse Good here, and today I'm reviewing a LEGO Studios 2001 set. This is Explosion Studio with a total of 4 minifigures, 232 pieces, retailed for $35 when it was released back in 2001. This is a sealed box, which is a very clean box, but let's go open this bad boy for the first time after all these years, devaluing it by millions. But hey, let's do it for the review. Out pours all the pieces. With everything organized, you got your bags of pieces over here, some loose pieces as well, which include a 16 by 32 old gray base plate. I actually really like that. LEGO Studios instructions, and then this catalog, which we reviewed in another video, as well as a little mail-in flyer. Here's a set all built up, and I made a mistake because I said this was a 2001 set. This is a 2000 set. I don't know where I got the idea that it was a 2001 set. But either way, let's take a look at those minifigures. The first minifigure we'll take a look at is the director, who is clearly inspired by Steven Spielberg, which I'm sure he was okay with because there was a Steven Spielberg movie branded set. This design does have an interesting torso print that from back in the day was one of the few that had some back torso printing. Also a black hat, and that face print that again looks a lot like Steven Spielberg. And the next minifigure is the cameraman. I mean, this is a figure just like the director that came in a lot of the LEGO Studio sets. And this design does have a little bit of misprint, or at least my copy does, where there's some extra lines there. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that's a misprint, but makes him look a little bit tipsy. The next minifigure is the stuntman, just like the last two. Really, I should say just like any minifigure in this set. This is not an exclusive figure. This same arrangement has appeared in many other sets. Actually, with the helmet, I think it's more common with the black hat, but it's something that's a LEGO Studio staple. And if you look at his face printing, I think this one's even more misprinted than the last figure. Holy crud. Do I have some money on my hands right there? Because I could probably get a pretty penny out of this one. He also has this gray suitcase, which is kind of interesting to get. And finally, there's a cop actor, which this same policeman came in a couple other, I think even LEGO Town sets or something like that. Not really a LEGO Studio staple. I do like the torso printing though, and that face print, which is very 90s. Anyways, back to the build of the set. There's some separate parts like the lights as well as some of these vehicles. But first we'll just take a look at the Explosion Studio, removing all the minifigures. Removing those parts gives a lot more space on that base plate for the Explosion Studio. This bank build is the main part that gets exploded. How does it explode, you may ask? Well, if you look closely, these pieces are resting on tiles. They're not connected, so it is a little bit wobbly. You gotta be careful. We'll take a close look at that later. I just want to show that play feature. Now, all you have to do to activate it is press down here, and that was pretty cool, right? I forget the name of this specific spring-loaded part, but it has like a Technic opening at one end and then a Technic opening at the other end. Getting it in red, I think, is exclusive to this set, and of course it's interesting to see LEGO pieces integrated with the springs. Now, this connection here is another key feature, which is this string. It's one of the strings with a stud on each end. That's connected to this little, I guess, a switch here, and that's a 1x2 print on one end and then a 1x4 print on the other end, neither of which are exclusive. There's also this printed brick right here, which is pretty interesting, but not exclusive. And since that's connected to this piece, when you push this up, that part springs up, and it's actually a really innovative way to explode this. And after it has exploded, they also include this interesting plate piece I was not familiar with. I didn't even know this existed. It's like a huge LEGO minifigure plate from the CMF series. And this can be pushed right down and put this plate here. You could have the stuntman in that area and push on it again. And then you just have a platform to launch. But let's rebuild the bank. I was worried that there would be too many pieces to put back to rebuild the bank, but really it's not that hard to do. It's not too many pieces. I think I'm not even going to cut. That's how quick I can put this here. I was also going to say that I've seen this explosion feature done before in some more modern LEGO sets, but not as well as this. I actually think that spring-loaded feature really adds a lot to it. And of course, I mean, this is a set specifically made to explode, so that's another reason why it's a leg up. You got those pillars there, this roof, and I think there's a loose little bank box, and at the top, put more of these 1x2s, but yeah, other than that, it's all rebuilt. A little bit lopsided, but still rebuilt. Just lining this one up a little bit better. And there you go. For the bank, there's a door at the front, which I guess you shouldn't really pull or push open because it's probably just going to make the thing explode. But I also like how they did the pillars on the side. I think that's kind of cute. The interior has that bank box once again, and this does appear in a few other sets with that front print that's pretty interesting. And we got those coins inside, the classic Lego coins. Also a print for this cash register right here, or whatever you want to look at it as. That design has come in a lot of other sets as well. Placing that back, let's move to the top roof of the building. And that's where these $100 bill tile printed pieces are held, and they're not connected to anything because when it explodes, the money will go flying. And then there's this camera right here. This piece is pretty nostalgic to me. They don't use it often anymore. It's an interesting piece altogether where each side has like a stud on it. There's also studs at the top for the reel. And then there's an insertion slot where you can put a 1x2 tile. This has a videotape one in most sets that it comes in, which is a pretty cool design. There's two in this set, and look at this. It's supposed to have a 1x1 brick at the front as part of the build. When you put that 1x1 brick on there, it just won't fit. I tried both copies of this camera piece, neither fit. I did have this piece growing up, and I don't remember it doing that, but I don't remember ever putting a 1x1 brick because I didn't really build by the instructions. And if you look inside, there's a little bit of, I don't know, maybe some dents or something sticking out, and that could probably be it with the plastic. But again, both copies of the cameras in this set have the same defect and same problem. I literally can't put a 1x1 brick on either of them. It just won't stay. And wrapping up the studio look, there's a few more details like some lights on both sides, some tiles, different look at the explosion mechanism. And then at the corner over here, there's a director's chair, which is kind of cool. I like how they use a chalice piece in black at the bottom to build that up, as well as 1x2 prints of these dynamites and explosive device right here, which is a cute little build. The stuntman has a little trike build, and this design does have kind of an uncommon color for this trike design with the red. Wasn't anything super special because I think not a lot of people like this trike looking back. It was pretty juniorized, and this design is actually kind of interesting on how this connects. Basically, this front part is a whole separate piece, and it just kind of snaps on there. Of course, you have separate other parts like the studs and the wheels, but you get the point. And you can just put the stuntman sitting on there, and there's enough room to just fit one minifigure. Heck, you could even have two if you have one guy standing up behind here. I really like the builds for the studio lights. They use that signpost piece with the 2x2 base at the bottom. This design does have a clip connection, and it means it's adjustable up and down. You also adjust these panel parts up and down as well since they are clipped on. Really like the use of this metallic silver, I guess, or whatever the heck it's called, for the dish piece. Very nice shine there, and it gives it a very unique look. Not too much else to say here, and I'm sure back in 2000, this was very unique because we didn't really get anything related to a movie studio in Lego form before. And finally, this camera vehicle, the correct term is a camera dolly, is actually pretty cute. I like how there's these small little 4 wheels here, and you could go around the studio. It just fits one minifigure sitting down, which that has our second camera piece, or really the first one I built, and the first source of my frustration, because, like I said, both camera pieces in the set just will not take that 1x1 stud. I also like how you could move the camera around as well since it is on one of those cone connections. But either way, that's it for the builds of the set. Let's take a look at the packaging and then the final verdict. We already took a pretty good look at the box in the beginning, and there's a little bit more detailing at the top there. At the back, I really like this alternate build there, where they show that you could integrate that same explosion feature and have a different scene. Right here, he's bursting through the window. For the paper materials, well, we already kind of took a look at that. This already took a look at in another video, like I said earlier. But this does have some interesting advertisements in it. There's this ad right here, which is for the Steven Spielberg movie maker. That's on the catalog as well. This is a set that's pretty hard to get nowadays, sealed or anything like that, but it also comes with like a T-Rex. I love the camera there. I like how it also had this PC software program so that you could edit it. And I know a lot of people love this set when they were younger, so that's really cool. It wasn't nostalgic to me, but there is a very nostalgic set on the next page. Either way, this one I think I reviewed fairly recently. It's pretty cute, and I remember my friends had that when I was younger, and I was always interested in that set because of that face right there, and then I eventually got that face. This right here is the car stunt one, which not really for me. I don't like that car. It's very oversized too. The helicopter one is actually really cool, and I never see that on eBay. That one must be especially rare. I guess I'll search it up after I'm done filming this review. There you go. This is a super nostalgic one, which is a Temple of Gloom. Fun fact, I mean, not only is this one that I loved when I was younger, I loved growing up, but this is also the set that got me into buying old Lego sets like this, because in 2016, 2015, I wanted this set because it was such a huge part of my childhood, but it was in pieces. And I was like, I don't want to buy a used copy. I want to buy a sealed copy. And that was the start of me buying sealed old sets. And then at the top over here, I think I had this one when I was younger too. Well, really, honestly, these two were my brothers. So it's super nostalgic to me because we still play with them. And then over here is the Dino head, which I just got recently, and I'm probably going to review soon. Let me know if you guys want to see that. Nice to see a trip down memory lane because LEGO Studios is one of my favorite themes. So overall, I really like this set. It's so fun to play around with, but the design of it is also a pretty cool bank. Like, if you just modified it a bit, you could actually use this in a LEGO City. Do wish there was more of an interior on that aspect, but that's not really the focus of the set. The focus of the set is explosion, and like I said, that works really well. Tempted to press it right now, but I did a really good job putting it back together, and I gotta take that thumbnail pic. Screw it. And really, the set works better than I ever expected it to. My only problem would be with the 1x1 attachments to the camera, which just do not fit. They just keep flying off. They're explosion of themselves. Let me know if I'm alone on that in the comments. I mean, do you guys have the same problem with that piece? Is that just a bad piece in general? It looks really cool, but LEGO doesn't use it anymore, probably for a reason. But that's just my 2 cents, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Bye.